I don't think there's a more important topic for our state or for our country than quality education. So I appreciate each of you being here. It shows that you're concerned. We don't always agree, but I don't mind disagreement. I do mind complacency. I mind complacency. I don't mind disagreement. I want to thank you for making the trip to be with us today. You're an excellent writer, and I've had the opportunity to read some of your work, and I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate your comments. You know, I didn't come with a prepared speech today. I don't have any notes. I wrote down a few notes here. I don't want this to be a tit for tat. I think we've done too much of that in politics and too much of that in America, and certainly probably too much of that in Louisiana. So rather than tit for tat, I'd rather describe a different vision of who I think we can be and who we should be. We live in a great state with great people. I'm a redneck from North Louisiana. We've got Cajuns in South Louisiana. We have white, black, rich and poor. But we have good people. I've not met anyone who's not concerned about education. I've not met a soul who won't take time and talk about that topic. Now, I ran for Bessie 5 years ago because I have a daughter and a son, 12-year-old daughter Adeline and a 10-year-old son. And I want them to have the opportunity to live in this state, an opportunity. They may choose to go elsewhere. But I wanted our state to be vibrant enough. I wanted our economy to be strong enough that they could choose this state. Now, I wasn't looking to run for public office. I was a happy man. I've grown up around politics my whole life. My whole life. My dad served in the State Constitutional Convention in 1973, ran for Congress in 78, served in Congress in 1980, served as governor in 1987, ran for governor 2 more times. I've been around it all my life, and let me tell you what I don't need. I don't need politics. Politics is not what makes me happy. What makes me happy is going home to my son and my daughter and my wife. But I knew the chances of that occurring for the rest of my life depended on the quality of our state and the opportunities of our state. And let's talk about some facts real quick. We have 235,000 kids below grade level. That's 1 out of 3 in public education. 235,000 below grade level. That'd be the second, depending on what statistic you look at, that would be the second or third largest city in our state that could be made up exclusively of kids in K-12 who are below grade level. Now, there's weaknesses. There's no silver bullet. We mentioned a number of reforms here and issues that people have with reform. And those are fair comments. No charter school. Just because you put charter school on the front door doesn't mean it's going to be successful. Just because you give a child a voucher doesn't guarantee success. There is no silver bullet. No 2 kids are the same. I don't think any 2 schools should be the same. There's no one answer for any one child. Now, here's what we can agree to. We know what we were doing was not working. Now, we spend $9 billion in this state on K-12 education, $9 billion with a B. I know more is always better. That's almost $13,000 a child. I know some in this crowd aren't charter school proponents. I helped run a charter school in this state. Every one of our kids passed the LEAP test. We serve 99% at-risk population. We gave our teachers a higher pay than the local average, and we had money left over at the end of the day. Now, here's the state I believe in. I believe in a state when a parent can wake up in the morning and make a choice for their child. Not a bureaucrat at the central office, not a bureaucrat at the state office, but when a parent gets to make a choice for their child on where they want to send their child to learn. And let me tell you, it's different for every parent. It's different for every family. It's different in every community. It may or may not be a traditional public school. It could be a charter school. You know, we talk a lot about the voucher program in this state. We spend less than 0.2% of our money is spent on scholarships in this state. 5,000 students out of 700,000. It's not a big number. Vouchers aren't going to change this state. But for those 5,000 families, do you want to go into their dining room and tell them you shouldn't have a choice? Go ask them if it's important to them that they took their child out of an environment that they did not feel served their family's needs. Go ask them if it's important. Now, I believe in choice. Now, here's the key. And I will only pull one comment from what you said. You said the parents that are motivated. The charter schools and the vouchers will only serve the parents that are motivated. How come the motivated parents would choose a different product? Now that's a question we must ask ourselves. And here's the key. Here's what we must do in this state to be successful. We must make our traditional public schools the strongest choice. The strongest choice. And one of the ways to make them stronger is to make them look at their practices. Make them look at the way they do their business. Make them start treating your child like an individual with different needs. It's called competition. I support it. Now, I've had a good week this week. I went to Iberia, I went to Vermilion, and I went to Lafayette parishes. I became president of the board in January, and one of the things I decided we needed to do as a board is get more direct input directly from the schoolhouse, directly from those teaching our kids, directly from the parents of our kids, and directly from the kids. One of the frustrating things working at the state level is we get a lot of information that's filtered through a lot of sources. I wanted direct information. Now, I have some good news. I've been guilty of times of inflammatory comments. Now, there's some method to my madness. There's some method to my madness. Because, see, I think the debate needs to happen. And how do you start a fire? You start a fire with a spark. But let me make some good comments here. I was in Vermilion, Iberia, and Lafayette. Started at 7 in the morning and we ended at 7 at night and visited a number of schools. Got to talk to a number of school leaders, got to visit with groups of teachers, got to visit with groups of parents. I've done the same in other places around this state. I'm going to travel this state with our Bessie board members, and we're going to go to as many districts as we can, as fast as we can, to get direct input. Because I will guarantee you one thing, the policies we have in place right now are not perfect. The policies we have in place right now are not perfect. And shame on us if we don't take a close look at each and every one of them and make appropriate changes. Now here's the good news. I met a lot of strong teachers. A whole lot. I met a lot of teachers who were frustrated. They have anxiety because of the amount of change and the speed of change. They have anxiety, no doubt about it. Now, I'll take my part of responsibility for that. Now, I'm not a patient man, though. We can't take 10 years to make change. You know, the staff of the Bessie will laugh on these road trips that we take. I never fill the car up. I'm not patient enough to get it to full. I can only get it. So I'm not the most patient man in the world. So the speed with which we're changing, while it causes anxiety, is necessary in this state. In a state that ranks last, in a country that ranks 19th of industrialized nations, we must move with haste. Now, I met a lot of strong teachers. They talked about their anxiety and the pressure. But here's what they also said, talking specifically about Compass, which is our evaluation instrument in this state. Chaz, we don't agree with every part of it. There's parts of the rubric we think that need to be addressed. Special ed teachers in particular said, I don't know that the rubric matches up with what my reality is in the classroom. I said, well, we'll look at that. But here's what they tell you at the end of the day. Despite all of my anxiety, and by the way, they take all the anxiety and they roll up their sleeves and they say, we're going to get it done, though. Now, I like that. We're going to get it done. But here's what they told you at the end of the day. Chaz, you know what this has made us do? This has made us go back and look to see how we teach our kids. And it's making me a better teacher. Now, these reforms are hard, and not any one of them is going to solve our problems. But we don't have the luxury of time. We do not have the luxury of time. My kids are 10 and 12. So void of an instant success, void of an instant turnaround, what do we have to offer? We have to offer our parents and our kids choices. And they come in the forms of charter schools, they come in the forms of voucher schools, they come in the forms of virtual education. They come in many varieties. But we have to offer that and offer it today. You know, my daughter's in 5th grade. You know what she takes? High School Spanish 2 online. High School Spanish 2 online. Guess what it teaches her? Not only Spanish, which she happens to be fluent in, it teaches her computer skills. It teaches her individual responsibility. Vouchers not for everyone. Scholarships aren't for everyone. Virtual schools aren't for everyone. Charter schools aren't for everyone. Private schools not for everyone. Traditional public schools not for everyone. Our challenge as a state is to offer as many high-quality options as we can. Now, charter schools have closed. I think that's their strongest point. When you're unable to succeed and you're unable to teach the children and you're unable to show more success, then we're going to close you. Now, that's a high standard. It's a standard I think we should hold everyone to. I call it my money-back guarantee. We're going to teach your child to read, or you ought to get your money back. Now, I appreciate your time today. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate we have different perspectives. But let's be clear on where I stand. I stand for lifting these kids up in this state, and I'm going to turn over every rock I can to make it happen. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.